Hello everybody, welcome to today's live stream. So as always, we are going to start with our higher time frame analysis. I spotted something kind of interesting just the other day, and I think it's worth taking a look at. I get a little hesitant with BTC being as strong as it is to kind of call something out like this, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and take a look here. So we have a nice kind of a zone here of previous resistance, and we can see that this level, not even just from here, but if we just pull back, you can see that this zone has generally been sort of an SR flip zone. So we can see it was support here, resistance here with a very big deviation, and now we've revisited the level. It would make a lot of sense to see some kind of a reaction here, in my opinion. And I want to look at just briefly here. I want to take a peek and see what yeah, so we're just above the value area high of this range, just above it. Okay, so keeping that in mind, right? This important level here. We also have what could be a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Even go down on a 3-day to get a more clear perspective on this. Wave 5 typically associated with a lot of bullishness, a lot of positive news, retail joining in on the longs, and bearish divergence forming. So we're getting all of that as well with this move up here. And then lastly, we have this potential cipher harmonic. Now we have to keep in mind that this cipher, it's not a complete harmonic. Okay, this is it's putting in its C wave, and the D wave is typically the one that you trade. Okay, like this is, if and when this D wave is hit, this is the one that you would trade off of, and you'd have a specific trade set up with that. However, if you have enough confluence, you can also trade the C wave, back down to D, because it gives you a place to target. So my thought process is we have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have this key area of resistance here that when flipped, price should go significantly higher. Massively positive funding rates across the board. Well, I guess with the exception of, oh no, it's popping back up here. I mean, just across market wide, right? We have a lot of positive delta built into BTC. And in addition, if we look back, it's 41, look back 3 months. If we look back at 3 months, 34,200 is kind of the hot spot of liquidity. Looking back at 3 months, which brings us down into this zone for the D wave. So when you kind of put all of these things together, I think that there's a potential here for a much larger reversal. And I don't think people would really expect it going into the halvening on BTC. So we'll go down to a lower time frame and we'll kind of look, but I called out this short in the Discord a couple days ago, and ultimately what it is I've just been slowly laddering in short here, while taking longs on lower time frames. So I kind of think of this as more or less being a hedge to all of the intra-week trades that I'm taking in the event that they're wrong, and we do see a larger reversal to the downside. Okay, and now typically, by the way, on the C, it would typically go to the 1414, so there is still room to the upside for BTC to sweep the current high. So we'll take a look at that as well. So going down into lower time frames, just to sort of talk about that, this level here is the old SFP SR flip level that I was telling you about. And you can see that it has been really important, you know, locally on the chart here, being resistance, support. You can see that it's a well-respected level, okay? So here's the 414. Currently, the C wave is ending here. The 414 goes up to about 53,280. And so, you know, with the strength that I've been seeing here, basically, you know, we can kind of look at this here. We had a deviation reclaim, and now price is simply around range highs. I could see something like this. Maybe we come up, lose this level, and start getting some moves down. If we see something like this happen, then I'm very, very, very much interested in opening shorts. If we see something like this where we do get up to around the 1414 level, gain acceptance back below this SFP zone and start to move down, this would be an incredibly positive sign that that cipher harmonic is or possibly will be playing out. So just something to bear in mind for the week. In fact, I'm going to set an alert here and say watch for 1414 rejection, acceptance above 53K zone equal higher. So we have an invalidation there, right? If we do, let's say, hold this zone and get a move up, then, you know, of course, that trade idea is invalid, right? We're no longer going to be looking at that cipher harmonic, right? Let's set one here. Confirm limit shorts filled. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I think that that's good on that, just to talk about that trade idea. In addition, we'll go ahead and update our chart a little bit here today. And then, yes, absolutely, I saw that we're looking for a Sol update. We'll definitely be reviewing Sol today. So I just want to go down here again. I want to clean up some of my stuff for my chart. Clean up some things from the chart here. All right, let's go ahead and update. Wow, look at this monthly candle. One, two, three, 4, 5. Wow. Get our previous week levels here. Week high. Weekly open. Previous week low. I really like this area down here. I would definitely be interested in longing that if given. Gonna work in this bigger context here. Yeah, I'd like to do a little bit more. I'd like to get through today, let's just say. I want to watch Monday's range form, and then we can come up with some local setups. I think the key thing here for everyone to recognize is, again, this 414 setup, where if we were to see something like this, then, we can see a move to the downside. How low that would go, is to be seen. Would we see, a sweep of previous week low for a move to the upside and continuation? Or would we see a move down to the monthly open and 618 zone, as well as the point of control of this upper range here that we've been trading in? Or would we have, a much larger move to the downside? And I think that I don't think we have enough information to really know what's going to happen, and we're going to have to wait until some of these key levels get hit. If we do get this move, I'll definitely be looking to short. If price claims above it, then we're definitely going to go higher. In the event that we do get a move down, really, right, these are all kind of the key 1, 2, and 3, sort of these key hotspots. Lose one, we look to the next. If we didn't take this high and we go right down here first, I'd look to long. If we take this high, I'll look to short. If we break above, I will not be interested in shorts because we're likely going higher. And 2, we have to acknowledge that it's not going to go straight down. It's pretty likely that we do see a little bit of action here where price ultimately kind of does something like this, right? A move down to about 43, 44, back up to 50, whatever it might be. And if I go ahead and just look at that too, if we look down to the 43, 44, yeah, and if we look at that on here, 43, 44, yeah. So in this zone, the 618 zone, if we saw something, kind of go like this, maybe like this, boom, kind of back up here, maybe sweep this high, and then, kind of get a move down like that. This would sort of right now as my higher time frame plan. But that said, I've given a lot of reasons to watch for something else or levels of invalidation and things like that. So we'll go ahead and clear this out, and we'll keep these things in mind. I think that all of our important levels are here on the chart right now, and we just simply have to let price unfold and do its thing. And we have our key levels that we're looking for, and we can sort of go from there. Taking a look at Solana. Yeah, Solana, just great. Great. Solana's been great. Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about this. And I want to share with you sort of how I've been trading Solana since Saturday when we entered in this position here. So the very first thing that I called out in the group was to see a deviation. We'll have to update our previous week levels as well. What I wanted to see was a deviation of this daily level, or I was looking for a tap of it and then continuation, but instead we deviated it. And I said in the group, I'm going to play this deviation daily play here, set my stops here. I've since then adjusted my stops. My stops are like, I think they're up here, but I'm actually going to move them up to here after this. So what I've been doing is, I entered long here. I fully sized. And what I've been doing is keeping my eye on the moving averages and where they're crossing over. So when we got this move up and came back down, let's see, where did I add more? I started adding more in here. Started adding more in here because it looked like we were going to get a crossover, and we did, and price really jumped back up. I added more down in here, which is now playing out really nicely. And what I've been doing is just sort of playing the rolling over of moving averages, right? Kind of looking to see these crossovers, which would indicate that we're likely to have more upside in price action. And so far, that's been really, really nice. And, you can see here, like with these downtrends, same thing. If you just simply trade the moving averages and keep moving your stop loss, lower and lower, or in this case, moving your stop loss higher and higher and higher, it ends up working really, really, really well in these kind of trading scenarios. So I think that, after this, like I said, my trade's in profit here. I'm super happy with this. I'm going to move my stop loss from here. I'm going to move it up to here, below this low at about, 110.80, something like that. Which means that my stops are in profit. So if we have continuation to the upside, great. If we get a move down, no problem. I'm not going to lose money. In fact, I'll actually make money on that stop. 117 is a pretty key, resistance level. We can see that that price has been sort of respecting for some time now. This was a deviation of that level. And so I think it's really important to look to take profits there. That said, I definitely believe that price is going to be working towards at least 121, if not breaking up above and getting a move higher up. But for me, this is, basically the primary zone that I've been targeting for this trade. But I'll definitely be taking profit around this 117, 118 level, and then leaving runners for higher up. At this point, this was a really great trade. I've been really happy with how this one has played out. So I'm gonna try not to get too greedy with it. Ultimately, I want to see that move to the upside, and then I'll go ahead and reevaluate from there. But like I said, hitting this zone is plenty for me on this trade. I'm very, very happy with how it's played out at that point. If we get up here, I consider it a bonus. Let's take a look at, you know what, I do want to update some of these levels here just briefly since we're on the chart. Previous week levels. actually to a 1 hour. Yeah, previous week high. Yeah, so maybe we do see. I think that the key thing to keep an eye on is maybe a deviation of the previous week high for a move down. And I think that this would fall in line with a deviation on BTC if that cipher harmonic were to play out. If we gain acceptance, above the previous week high, then obviously there's no reason that we shouldn't expect to have some degree of continuation to the upside. In our case here, I would think that if price were to break down and lose the weekly open, I think that we're going to have some kind of a, I don't know. I wouldn't be, I don't think that this would be a good look for our move up. And again, my stops are going to be here, so I'll get stopped out in profit, and I'll look to maybe open up new longs or just kind of wait and see what happens. Perhaps get a sweep of previous week low. Might be on the table at that point. So I think that this is a nice sort of levels to keep an eye on for the week with Solana. From where we are now, just respect the pump. And I'm definitely going to just continue to look up towards that level there and take some profits when we get there. Let's see where we're at for time. Yeah, about a half hour. This week, I'm going to do a lot of trading on gold. Gold hit our primary target from our long last week. Super happy with this gold long. This absolutely crushed it. So we can go ahead and get rid of that. We'll have to update our levels here. Previous week levels. And we'll wait for Monday's range to form. And we'll trade it from there. So previous week low. Weekly open. Previous week high. Go down to 4-hour time frame. This is no longer Monday low. Yeah, so you can see these are kind of our key levels for the week, in my opinion. Can watch for a lot of the usual, sweep of previous week high. Yeah, price is starting to look like it's rolling over. Yeah, so, we put in this high here. We have a sweep of that high right here, right? Unable to break above, starts to break down. We see price rolling over, towards possibly the mid-range here. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if that is where it's targeting. Let's pull up our... Yeah, so price right now is at, in my opinion, at an inflection point. Again, when you usually see these crosses, you have a little bit more downside in store. So what we'd want to see is price to reclaim this level in order to expect more upside from gold. Basically the 2020 level is what it should be reclaiming if we're going to see that. Yeah, gold's at an interesting place right now. I think we'll have to again sort of let price unfold for now. Let Monday's range form, and we'll do some updating and reevaluate in the Discord. I would like to look for some new setups on gold this week. That said, I will say that a sweep or deviation of the previous week high, which is also the 618 of this zone, would be a nice move to short. So it's something that we can keep in mind. And right now, I would, the way that I'm looking at this chart, I would think that it's more likely that we're going lower than higher. But that said, I think that we should let price unfold for the time being. We'll let Monday's range form, and we'll evaluate and go from there, and just keep some of these higher time frame things in mind. All right, I think that that's a great place to call it. So if you guys have any questions that I didn't get to, feel free to ask in the Discord. I saw someone asked for an FTM update. I did not take that trade. That was super, so you'll have to ask him. Adam, I haven't looked at Adam at all. I will, just for the heck of it, we can just take a very brief look. Sure that there'll have to be a lot more analysis to be done here, rather than just taking a well, if I were to just take a very brief look at Adam right now, I would say that I'd say that Adam's on its way to $17. This is a really nice harmonic. Obviously, it won't go straight there, so maybe this is something that we can keep an eye on. Yeah, I didn't trade a FTM, so you're gonna have to ask Super. I don't have an update for FTM. Yeah, this is interesting. We can keep an eye on it throughout the week and just see what happens. Maybe I'll start trading this if I see a good setup, because yeah, this definitely looks like it has potential to go to that 117 level, which is a pretty significant pump. So I'll do a little bit of updating and share some of that in the Discord this week. I think that'll be a good one. I'll take a brief look at FTM, but again, I'm not in that trade. I did not take that trade. I don't know. You're gonna have to ask Super. I don't have really much of an update. So FTM, it's at a pretty key area of resistance. If this is a deviation, it would reclaim, and you would probably just look to this trend line as the next area of resistance. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, I would say, a clean break above this zone here, gain acceptance, likely targeting up into this zone here. Failure to do so, and you know, this does look like a deviation to me, so I don't think it looks bad. I actually do think that this could run higher, but it's at a zone of resistance right now. So, you know, as you can see, if it does reject from here, then mm, mm, I'd have to look at it a little more. Again, I think you should ask Super about his trade, because I have not been trading FTM for at least 6 months. I haven't traded FTM. Hmm. I would think, because of this wick and this rounding out and forming here, that we would get this move towards the upside. I would think that that would be the case. If we were to reject from here, I would be hard pressed to think that it still wouldn't just do something like this. And maybe form an ascending triangle. I would be surprised looking at this chart. But again, this is pending BTC, right? I would be surprised if this low or this low were taken out and price were to get a move down to here. I would be surprised by that. From what I see on the chart here, I think it's more likely that it reclaims this zone and gets a move up, or forms a triangle and then gets a move up. I think that this is less likely right now. I think a move down, a significant move down, is less likely than a move up from what I'm looking at here. All right, cool. Well, I think that we'll go ahead and call it there. Yeah, Sol just does not want to break through that level, huh? All right. Well, as always, guys, thank you for joining me. If I didn't get to your questions, feel free to ask in the group. Stocks are closed today in the U.S. Disney long looks great. Looks great. Up 6% up from our original entry. Tesla, just, yeah, looks awesome. We're up around 10% from our original entry here. So stocks are looking good. I'm really excited for the market to open back up tomorrow, and we can evaluate from there, as well as hopping into some trades with gold. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. And like I said, if you did have any questions and I just didn't get to them, feel free to ask in the group and we'll kind of go over it. I'll be sure to share kind of some of the stuff that we talked about in the stream today. And yeah, I think we'll have a great trading week. We have a lot of really key levels here. Prices at a really, really big inflection point, in my opinion, on what the coming weeks and months are going to look like. All right. Have a nice day, guys. We'll see you in the group.